All right. So for everybody who was in on this great conversation with LeGreg Harrison, the owner of the Museum DC, we live again. We're gonna chime in for part two. This conversation is so good, man. We had to extend it. So I'm waiting for Greg to tap back in. We're gonna go for about another 30 minutes. If y'all got time, stay in. I got a couple more questions for G. And if you all have any more questions for Greg, please feel free to tap in. We're gonna try to answer as many questions as we can tonight. Just waiting for him to tap in real quick. Shout out to the Umbrella of Hope. Great info. Thank you all for tapping in tonight. Your support is truly appreciated. What's up, Coach T? Okay. Send the request, G. In fact, let me send it. I can send it to you. Give me a second. All right, I got you. Here we go. All right, we back. So the question was, let me pin the question really quick. What information, what advice would you give to a person who wanted to start their own clothing line?
Right. You know, first and foremost, I think before you get into anything, you have to study that. You got to make sure that you load yourself up with a lot of information, because it's not as easy as it looks. You know, so this is one thing that I do. So now that we're trying to design our own sneaker, right? Our own shoe. So I just load up on books like this, the shoe design.
Wow. Okay. You do your
You
homework.
understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So self-taught. We're gonna teach ourselves.
Absolutely.
Right?
That's important. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
So we're gonna read.
Absolutely.
We're gonna read. We're gonna get into
show
labels.
Show the people the front of the book. So for all y'all inspiring to start your own clothing line, whether it's shoes, whether it's decor, whether it's clothing, man, you gotta read. You gotta educate yourself on your craft.
Yeah. Before I jumped into anything doing, the clothing line with the museum, like I really sat down with our forefathers in fashion in the city. You know what I'm saying? I learned a lot over the years because I've sat and was involved in a lot. Like I could remember having conversations with Shooter Rob from Shooters, back in the day. Derek Pumphrey, DeMarco Solar, who also was a part of All Days and Caution, just everybody, Big Kurt Bone. Like I've talked to so many different Vusi, you know what I mean? Makunu, so many different brands and lines that I had a chance to just dig into a lot of the owners and designers' minds and understand. And they allowed me to sit around their stores. Right. You right? And then my dad, like, he taught me a whole lot just about tailoring, things in it. Because you got to understand, at one point in time in DC, a lot of teenagers were dressing up in suits, tailor-made pants and shirts, cufflinks with their names on them, driving Saabs and Benzes. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so DC has an array and a very large history of fashion, icons. So I would do this first and foremost, before I start my brand. Like I would go and reach out to a lot of those people and see if you can just spend a day with them. You know what I'm saying? Can I go with you to get my clothes, cut and sew, get a sample done and things of that nature? Right. Study this business first before you jump into it. The second thing I would do is this. I use notebooks, man. I got a bunch of notebooks. I got composition books and everything that I write all of my notes in, right? So I start here first, right? And then I'll write, okay, what do I want to call my brand and why? Right? Because you just don't come out with a clothing brand because you think you fly or you want to put fly clothes on people. Right. You have to be able to tell a story. Your brand has to tell a story, right? And so, like I said, for the museum, just to give y'all some inspiration on what the story is, The story is that we wanted to be a source of inspiration. So the root word muse is a female source of inspiration. Wow. You know, and then to go further than that with the museum story, what's inside of a museum? All of your prized possessions, your artifacts, right? So growing up, myself and Muhammad, and shout out to Sauce too, made that hype beast. You know what I'm saying? We proud of that. Right. You know, Demetrius Butler. Yeah, but
like that.
But yeah, he's one of the, just to shout him out real quick, he's one of the biggest art collectors in our city, period, ever come out of this town. Probably one of the biggest on the East Coast. You know, and a lot of people don't know that. We call him the art dealer. Wow. You know what I'm saying? But so listen, I would literally you know, write my notes and everything in those books. You feel me? It has everything that you put into your brand has to tell a story. You know what I mean? All of everything that you've been through, you know, or you know, kind of bottle up even your frustrations or figure out where there's a need for your service.
Absolutely.
And then infiltrate that. So for the museum, we also saw that the city was being gentrified at an all-time high. Right? And so what our plan was like, wow, when we got back home, we didn't see the madness anymore. We didn't see any DC design-based brick and mortars. And brick and mortar is so important to the Black community. You know, the mom and pop is so important to us, right? Because guess what? You come into my store, you might not have all your money, right?
Right.
But this goes back to the old days when your grandmother would send you to the corner store. But the corner store might have been owned by somebody that she knew since she was a kid. And her parents knew. And so she would say, go get that loaf of bread. You ain't go with no money. You went with a note. You feel me? And when you got back to the house, you like, Grandma, how you get that? It's legacy, baby.
Yeah, it's legacy.
You understand? We're a community. And so we help each other in that way. When I get paid next week, that's when I'm going to go and take care of them. But I built that rapport of trust that they know that I'm going to give them their money when I get it. Right? And so we wanted to have that with the museum. So if you come in there and it's a single mom that got 4 kids, you know what I mean? And they got good grades, they might get all their outfits for free. Or just like some of the brothers that's incarcerated. I was over at Department of Corrections not too long ago, and I told them, each and every one of them that come home, right? When they come home, they come see us first. Right. Because if anything, we're not going to have you looking crazy. We're going to put you in the outfit as soon as you touch down. Don't worry about that money. That's word to me and Mo. Straight like that.
And that alludes to the question that Kicks and Tricks said, that Kicks and Tricks had. They said, gee, touch on your experiences of building your network all over the country and how that's now helping your community now with the brand.
Yeah. That's a really good suggestion right there. So, you know, just moving about the country, you always want to make sure that your brand is represented the correct way. Because when you leave, you're really representing an entire community and an entire town when you're in another city. Yeah. They're not just going to recognize you, but they're going to say, my man, G from DC.
Absolutely.
Right? And so we had to make sure that when we went out, we showed some humility, but we're also thorough. You know, and everybody knows that we go anywhere around this country, you know, and DC guys are always going to be super thorough and stay authentic, right? But it was super important, you know, to us helping the community, and it's so important to our brand because now we formulated so many different partnerships outside of DC, like Draymond Green. That's family. You know, he's a world champion, Olympian, and everything, and he was one of the first athletes to wear one of our Letterman jackets, right? And he wore it during Game 5 or Game 6 of the NBA Finals.
Wow.
Walking through the tunnel.
Wow. That's huge.
Yeah. You know, and then also, you know, we have friends, you know, in New York City and Atlanta and Florida, Chicago, LA, Houston, Dallas, you know, all over this country. Shout out to Frank the Cooker as well. You know what I'm saying? One of the dopest storytellers and sneaker designers, you know, out, you know, who has also helped us. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Kicks and Tricks.
Okay. Shout out to all of those great individuals. So I'm going to read some of these comments. Vito Premier said, take 20 years to build a reputation, 5 minutes to destroy it. Coach T said G Mogul and Mo allow folks to come into their space and showcase their brand. Without the museum, I never would have created boxing brunch event and awareness. My brand. I appreciate you.
And shout out to Coach T. That's a good man right there, showing a lot of kids discipline through boxing and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good man.
Toddy Bo said, solid talk going on. Thank you, brother. Thanks for tapping in. So I think I just seen another question that came in as well. I want to get to that really quick. Okay. So DC Sneakers 202 has a question. They said, talk about maintaining that drive after you become successful. Because a lot of people do that, right? You attain a certain level of success and you get complacent. Tell the people on how you keep it going.
Man, you know how I keep it going. I always think about my family and how I feel like we don't have generational wealth yet. You know, I look at a lot of pain and suffering going on in my brothers and sisters' eyes, and when I mean in brothers and sisters, I mean us as blacks. You know, my side of town, Ward 8, just like Ward 7 and several other places, we're not in a good space. You know what I mean? And so for that reason, I got to keep grinding because I have to make sure that I'm of some service and I can aid people like Jimmy Black, like yourself, Charles, like Trayon White, you know what I mean? Like Kenya McDuffie, so I could be a servant to those people and to y'all for anything that y'all need me to do and use my influence to do to kind of like, pave a way for the future. I wake up angry every day. I make myself mad every day.
Man, that's a great point. If you're waking up and you are not where you want to be, you have no time to be lounging around and being content with the life that you're living. You have to wake up every day and say, why am I here? What do I have to do to take my life to that next level?
Because even once you get to a certain point, you got to look back and be like, man, are my friends out yet? You know what I'm saying? Is my family out of poverty?
Absolutely.
Like, you can't just, it has to be bigger than you.
Absolutely.
So after you get to a certain point, you got to reach back.
Absolutely.
So I'm never going to be satisfied and I'm never going to be done. And that's why I'm passing this legacy down to my kids because they're going to operate the same way.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. So, and what you said, man, was heavy. You know what I mean? And, you obtaining the level of success that you've attained over the years. It leads me to think that there had to be some people in your life that helped you on that journey. Tell us a little bit about some of the mentors that played a major role in your life.
Well, 1, 2, I could say my parents. Okay. My mom was just like, she showed me the type of support that like, it was, even if I wasn't the best at something, it's like, you the best. You know what I mean? And it became innate in my mind. So I'm just like, you know what I am. She gave me that attitude to be fearless. And then, my dad, he's just the things that he instilled in my mind. He's a psychologist, sociologist. So he challenged me, puzzles and riddles. To the point where, like, when I'm in the car, he asking me questions that I don't know the answer to.
Mind-boggling questions.
You know what I'm saying?
It's so unique. That's a unique way of teaching because he's making you think. He's making
you had to critically think, right? Because he will say stuff to me like, "What do you think God's gender is?"
Wow, that's huge.
Like, just think of things for yourself. I know you can read that book. But let's use some common sense. Let's figure this out. Right. So he always challenged me to critically think. You know what I mean? And he always left me with this quote. And is never delegate the responsibility of loving you to someone else. Because if you do, they'll stop loving you without your permission.
Wow.
And so I it's certain stuff like that that never leaves me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So those two for sure. And then I would say in business, my Uncle Tony, my Uncle Tony Cole, he really helped me in business a lot. And then George Hughes, who was my mentor, who got me in the industry.
Okay, wonderful, man.
Yeah. But I watch everybody. Make no mistake, I watch everybody.
And that's important.
Everybody. And look, you can ask people like, it's people like Coach K and everything. They remember me when I was young in the business. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get Coach K used to manage Rocco.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all remember
the game for a while.
Bro, the Tomorrow video that Rocco had back in the day when he had that leather jacket on that switch colors. Yeah, that was us, bro. That was Live Mechanics. Shout out to Toya. You know what I'm saying? That was my old roomie. She was one of the best stylists in New York. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Running around with Roger McKenzie and all of them. Like, we can go on and on with the name dropping. You know what I mean? But people know.
But you always was observed. You always sat back and watched the people who were successful before you. That's huge.
No
That's important. Being humble enough to listen and learn, right? Yeah. Okay. So with that, I'm not going to hold you too long, but I do have a couple of more questions I want to tap into for those who are on right now and may just need some, some direction and what to study or what inspired you to do some of the things that you've accomplished. What books are you currently reading or recommendations, or even if it's a movie that you're listening to, you're watching?
A few $1,000.
Okay. Who's that by?
By Robert Friedman.
Okay. So that's one of the books that you're reading right now.
Yeah, this is about prosperity for Blacks. You know what I mean? It talks about how we're always just a few $1,000s away from being successful or not. You know, and that if we're given those same opportunities that our other counterparts are, see, the thing is with us, we can't make mistakes. When we make mistakes, it's detrimental. You know, they can make mistakes and still have more money to make more mistakes. Nobody got it right on the first time. Look at Donald Trump.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? How many times he's failed in business, but because he can keep going back and getting those loans and things of that nature,
and his father
he can get back on his feet
with a nice lump sum of money as well.
We climbing from out the bottom.
We straight out the mud.
So the other book that I would encourage people to read is As a Man Thinketh.
Oh man, I read
my father. My father gave me that as a youngin', and it like changed my life because I understand the law of attraction, and everything. I'm gonna tell y'all this: you can get any and everything you want. You know what I'm saying? If I wanted to sit outside with a Rolls Royce, I can have it. You know what I mean? Like if you want that girl that you want, you can get her. Even something that's small. I'm serious.
Yeah.
You know, any job you want. If you first believe that here, look at Kobe Bryant. Kobe was a Michael Jordan clone to the T. To the point where he really believed it.
He studied
and he became equal or better. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you, all you have to do is believe. Your mind is a powerful thing. It's a powerful muscle. I promise you.
So look, G, man, look at. I learned a lot from this conversation, bro. And I'm sure the viewers, they learned a lot as well, man. You dropped a lot of jewels. You gave a lot of background information on some of your successes. Is there anything that you want to share with the viewers right now about some of the things that you have going on? Some of the movements that they can possibly be a part of, some of the planning that you have that you want to include the community on? If so, let people know.
Yeah, so, we didn't make the announcement on that yet, but I partner with Andre Hobson, who is another dynamic entrepreneur and leader, with the label and the brand High Res Global. Shout out to Ricardo Deshawn too. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing marketing over there for my good brother. But yeah, so I'm partnering with Dre. We got Fill Our Days project coming out, Chaz French.
Chaz French.
A lot of good artists over there doing their thing at High Res Global. So this COVID thing kind of knocked us off track a little bit, but we would have bust out this summer real crazy. The other thing that we have going on is the museum is actually shout out to Muhammad Hill. Like I said, he just did his thing with design, and we collab with Fila. So this fall, man, we about to kill
Congratulations, bro.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations, man.
Mo killed it on the design. Him and you know, Mitch and those guys. And Mo took the lead as the head designer and really crushed it. We got velour sweatsuits. We got a lot of stuff coming that's about to be crazy. Like we did a whole package with Fila. You know, we coming strong.
Man,
so.
I gotta give you a round of applause on that one, man. Everybody drop the round of applause emoji in the comment box for this man. This man is doing a lot, man.
Yeah, we're gonna turn the museum into a feline museum lab. There's gonna be so many things you could do interactive that you can do there. Also, I just launched Future Mogul Enterprises, you know, which is a consulting company. You know, right now we just invested and have a percentage in a hemp company down in Tennessee. It's an all black. They've been black farming since 1940.
Wow.
You know, so we got that going on. So we go, you know, eventually hemp may replace the cigarette as a healthy alternative. Wow. But we got that going on. You know, we are managing one of the greatest guys in tech right now. Young tech guy coming up was actually top 20 on the app charts, called Play One Up. So we're managing Brandon. He's going to be what Puff was the music. He's going to be that for the tech world, and it's going to be good to see a young black brother in tech that's cool, that can drive a nice car, wear a chain, dress like us, and look like us, but be a billionaire in tech. I'm predicting that for him. And then also we have a nonprofit. It's called Future Moguls, and so it's entrepreneur driven, and that's what we want to partner with you, my good brother, and your company.
It's done.
Because for so long, you know, it's been people that has talked entrepreneur, but we got to put our money where our mouth is. And so what we're going to do and partner with you guys is we want to be able to take at least 10 kids every year, help launch, develop, and create a business for them. And we'll pay for the initial licenses, everything, their business license and everything. Absolutely. Right? You know, to formulate their LLCs.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna do that. Y'all heard it first.
Y'all heard it first.
Connoisseurs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look here, bro. I love you, man. Thank you
love you
so
too,
much
bro.
for everything that you're doing. Keep inspiring, bro. You touched a lot of people today. The comments are going crazy with love. And I just want to tell you, man, from myself and behalf of our team at Community Connoisseurs, man, thank you for being who you are, and we're looking forward to locking arms. So before we leave,
man, thank you.
If you could leave the people with a few words, drop a few words of wisdom on the people before we close out.
Yeah, if I had to say anything, you know, it would just be stay true to yourself, stay true to your community, and let's build an ecosystem full of people of color and creatives. You know what I'm saying? Let's mob together. Let's treat this like how the Italians did. You know what I'm saying? Our community, we deserve a mob.
Absolutely.
You understand? So let's move like that.
Sure thing, man. Sure thing.
Yeah, for sure.
We locked in, brother. Thank you so much, man. Love you.
All right, bro.
Man, talk to you soon, bro. All right.
All right, see. All right.
Man, you heard it first, man. Here on the Moment of Truth with an amazing interview. I want to thank everybody that tapped in tonight to hear this conversation. It was a lot of inspiration, a lot of Jews. And for those who have businesses, who are thinking about starting a business, please follow your dreams. This is a great time to push your efforts forward. So again, thanks for chiming in. And again, we'll be here next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. with another special guest. So peace and love. Talk to you guys next week.